So I'm walking like I do, training for God knows what. And one of my birds, I say my birds, nobody owns the animals, but one of the birds that I hang out with decided to visit me, like, you know, swoop, and I got to see a really, it was just cool maneuver in the air. And as it was going back up, I was like, show off. And it occurred to me that I can have moments like that every day out here if I just left what I'm doing. I could take most of the money that the system gives me, put it right back into the system, since apparently they don't want it back. Put it right back in towards my debt, whatever I owe. And I could have moments, unscripted, unplanned, spontaneous moments like that anytime. There's my dream property. I don't know why, but I thought it was a Mason clubhouse. Just the number of the address, 3300, and they got the pool, and you see bikes going there every now and again. It's for sale. I'm dreaming. Anyways, I watched a video earlier. I didn't even watch the whole thing yet, but a young man that I follow, and I was wondering when he was going to do this, but he quit his job and got on his bike, and I guess he's doing it. I've seen so many people do that the last several years, and I could not be more pleased to be part of a movement that understands that $9 an hour pretty much pays for you to get to the job. It doesn't even cover people's car payments or insurance if they, God forbid, have, you know, a bill and have to do more than eat. It was never meant to be sustainable, and it was never meant to pay off for us. So I don't think we should feel shame for that, and I don't think those controllers or those who are minions for the controllers have any right to try and shame us for not wanting to be a part of a wicked system. The earth is vast and abundant and bountiful, and there are so many different places, just different types of land and terrain just in America alone. I know winter isn't the time to leave. Scripture tells us that. I worry about Sam living that way. He's pretty spoiled for a dog. I know that. I admit that. That seems to be what I do with the beings that I love. Spoil them with love. I don't mean to, you know, I don't spoil them, but I cover them in love. They don't always want that, you know? We're going to come to a time where they'll try to force us into the system, or as you're seeing now, pretty much make it against the law to exist, to be alive and be outside of the system, even though it was never meant to pay off. Now what you're seeing now is a controlled demolition, much like that date that many of us will never forget. It's a controlled demolition. All these people walking off their jobs, it's because of AI. We saw the AI doctors a couple years ago during the first round of lockdowns. We saw them pop up with a virtual therapy. I call this house the Bob Evans house, because when I was little, there was like this house where they would all gather in the yard, and I don't know if they still use that, but I call that the Bob Evans house. But anyways, most of the people that you're seeing leaving their jobs knew that this was coming before the general public did. You can tell by how people behaved, how people changed, how they were acting. There are just members of the family now that are considered deplorable, untouchable. And if they associate with us or help us to sustain ourselves or give us anything extra, I'm sure they have a, you know, a demerit or something like that they have to deal with, a consequence. So this is what it's going to be for those of us who are independent thinkers, those of us who follow God. People think when you find Christ, you give up your sovereignty. I found my voice and my sovereignty when I found Christ. So honestly, I can't relate, and I don't know what people are talking about when they say that. Should we go to the Masonic Hall? It's down, I think it's down the left there. We could, but I still gotta make it back home, and I'm already far away on a hot sunny day with some hand weights on, so. Is there anybody out there that ever sees my videos that just wants to connect like that with real human beings again? That wants to say, okay, society turned its back on us, let's turn our back on it. Let's stop giving the beast our attention, let's stop feeding the machine. You know, other than paying what you genuinely owe or feel you owe. Although again, in other countries, they get to go to college for free. Other countries want an educated populace. A well-tended to individual spreads forth into the community, spreads forth to the society, and it's just better all around. People who don't have to strive just to survive with the basics. And it's somewhat our ancestors' fault too, for coming off the farms, giving up their lands the first time this happened to the corporations. Say no, stand up. Who cares what their numbers are? That doesn't necessarily mean they'll win. And I do not promote violence. I'm a pacifist. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about using your voice and your free will and being willing to be uncomfortable for a while. Being willing to put down the toys that they give us because they're not worth our soul. What does it benefit a man to gain the world's pleasures, if it means you gotta lose your soul to do that for a few moments of joy that never fill that God-shaped hole which is inside of all of us? I think that's what needs to be done. I don't know when I'll have the courage to do it, but bravo to everyone who has decided to do it thus far. See, they got a pool back there. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, and a slide. Oh, I wish. How awesome. How pretty. Good for them, though. I hope they're going somewhere even better for them. I don't know. I'm just reaching out, seeing if there's any actual real human beings out there that watch my channel. Y'all have a blessed day. Bye.